Yo, what up my fellow humans? It's your girl Sienna Cruz here, back at it again with another dose of real talk for your soul. Today, we're diving headfirst into the messy, glorious world of shadow work. You know, that thing that makes you question everything you thought you knew about yourself? Yeah, that one. Don't worry, I ain't here to preach self-love and rainbows. We're gonna get real, get raw, and maybe even shed a few tears along the way. Because let's face it, Gen Z, life throws some serious shade our way. But here's the thing. Our egos, those little voice boxes in our heads that are constantly craving validation and trying to control everything, can seriously mess with our shadow work journey. They're like that friend who always needs to be the center of attention, interrupting every deep conversation with a sassy comment or a desperate need for likes. Ever felt that? Like you were on the verge of a breakthrough but then your ego swooped in and said, nope, too vulnerable. You know that feeling when you're trying to let go of something toxic but your ego is all like, this is my thing. Don't even think about letting it go. That's your ego trying to keep you safe, yeah? But sometimes, that safety net is just a cage. So, what's the deal with this whole ego situation? Why do we even have one in the first place? Well, our egos are basically survival mechanisms, developed by our brains to protect us from harm. They help us navigate social situations, build confidence, and achieve goals. But here's the catch. Sometimes, these protective instincts can become too strong, leading us to build walls around ourselves, resist change, and cling to outdated beliefs. Shadow work is all about breaking down those walls, facing our darkest fears, and integrating all parts of ourselves, even the messy, uncomfortable ones. But the ego hates vulnerability. It craves control and wants things to stay predictable. That's why it throws shade at us when we try to step outside our comfort zones. Okay, let me give you some real-world examples. Imagine you're in a relationship where you feel unheard or unappreciated. Your ego might tell you that you deserve better, to leave the relationship and find someone who treats you right. But what if your shadow work reveals that you have unresolved issues around feeling worthy of love? You might be projecting those insecurities onto your partner. See, it's not always about the other person. Our egos can sometimes lead us down a path of blame and resentment, keeping us stuck in unhealthy patterns. Another example. Let's say you want to start your own business but fear failure. Your ego might scream at you to stick with your safe, stable job instead. It'll point out all the risks involved and tell you that you're not good enough to succeed. But what if your shadow work reveals a deep-seated belief that you're not capable of achieving your dreams? That's when we gotta start asking ourselves some tough questions. What are those limiting beliefs holding me back? Am I letting my fear control my actions? And most importantly, am I willing to face my demons and step into my power? Look, shadow work ain't easy. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to get uncomfortable. But trust me, Gen Z, it's the most rewarding journey you'll ever take. You're gonna learn so much about yourself, break free from those ego-driven chains, and ultimately become your most authentic self. And that, my friends, is worth fighting for. So, what are you waiting for? Start digging deep, question everything, and don't be afraid to get messy. You got this. Hit me up on Insta, tag this episode in your stories, let me know how it's going. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast like it's your new BFF. Peace out.
This podcast is created with the help of advanced AI to deliver thoughtful affirmations and positive messages just for you.